and Toastmaster, most welcome guest, and fellow Toastmasters. Do you know what my favorite time of day? It is bedtime for the kids. I love that time of the day. I start by simply shutting off the TV. Wow, what a reaction from them. Wait, one more minute, they're yelling at me. I am such a bad person. We simply go from one side of the house to the other side. And as I try to get to the other side, I try to avoid those Lego pieces on the floor. Those toys, those Lego pieces really have a bite. And they laugh at me and make fun of me as I step on one of them every single time. I try to put them to bed. I read them a good night story. I tell my wife and I tell my kids, good night, everyone. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And they finally go to sleep. And then, truly, my favorite time. Silence ascends to the house. Now it's my time. I was attentive to everybody, but now it's my time. So I go grab a ice cold can of Coke Zero. And not Coke. I'm trying to lose weight here. And then I go downstairs to my man cave where it's nice and cold, but it's my place. And I hold my can of Coke Zero and I open it up and that wonderful sound. Whoosh. I have a sip. And I put my arm on one of my armrests near my desk. My right hand, I grab my mouse and I double click on Internet Explorer. And then suddenly, I wake up in exactly the same position. My arm fell asleep, the soda is still in my hand, and I'm just trying to double click on Internet Explorer. My neck was telling me, what were you thinking? My arms were numb, but somehow I was able to manage to get a sip of my now not so cold soda. It so happened that day, as like in any day, I double click on Internet Explorer and go on YouTube and say, let's see what I'm going to watch. Yes. I clicked on a video that was titled, the 2015 World Speaking Championship. And I was in awe with the speaker. I said, this is cool. I was so inspired. I said to myself, I can do better. So I Googled, where's my nearest Toastmaster? And I found this place. It was sometime in August 2018. I walked through those exact doors and I met the first person that will guide me in this journey. Kate, she's sitting here today. And she's telling me, welcome to Toastmasters. Would you like to be timer? Without hesitation or thought, having no clue of the role, I said, sure, yes, I will do it. It's hard to imagine that just by simply saying yes, my whole entire perspective and career has changed. Just by walking through those doors. I thought I'm joining Toastmasters to be the champion of public speaking. Where I am today, I'm the Vice President of Education, and I'm about to be the first member to finish a Toastmasters International Pathway. And it all started by saying, yes, no problem. As I reflect on my experiences in the last year, completing this pathway, there are 4 things that stand out, and I would like to share with them today. And the first thing is never being afraid to try something new. I always say, yes, no problem. I made a career on it. The only way I made a living as a technical teacher is I always said, yes, I will take that course. I had no idea of what I'm going to be teaching, but I just said yes. I always believed in the Bill Gates philosophy. He sold IBM a software that never existed. So I'm going to teach a class that I never taught. I'm just simply going to have to work harder. And I did. I remember Kate asked me the next week, would you like to do an icebreaker speech? What did you think I say?
Yes.
Yes! No problem. And I quickly come up with a 7-minute icebreaker speech. It can be done. And I started to become more involved in all the projects and all the roles here in Podium Toastmasters. So you can do it as well. I've always wondered why, when somebody is asking, would you like to take on a role? Generally, the first response is absolute silence. But then I ask you, reconsider. See what it will take you. Where will it take you? If we ask you to be a Toastmaster, or we ask you to be a grammarian, or we ask you to speak, say yes. Don't be afraid. Because all of our fears are the reasons why we are stopping ourselves from being successful. Our fears are going to stop us dead in our tracks. And in the reality of the matter, our fears can be conquered by taking one step at a time. So I said yes to every role that was asked upon and every speech that I was asked to do. And I went through the process and ended up here, nearly a year later. The second thing that stands out for me is commitment. The commitment is very important as part of Toastmasters. What you put into Toastmasters is what you're going to get out. Now, in the business world, we call that return on investment. You are investing time. You're investing the money. You are investing in your careers, in your profession, and in your personal life. But there is also sacrifice. And the sacrifice doesn't come to you. The sacrifice is your family. They're the ones who have to stay home as you come to a meeting. They're the ones who have to deal with all the kids as you're here in a meeting. I'm always conscious about that. Not easy to say, but I remember, and I always try to tell my wife, I thank her for allowing me to come here just for 2 hours a week. And lately, it was 4 hours a week, and that was extremely stressful. So your families are also sacrificing, but what is in the return? What's the return on your investment is you've gained confidence. You're a better person. You're stronger. You have more confidence to take on more tasks at work and start becoming a leader at work. Naturally. You don't even think of it. So by participating and committing your time just for 2 hours every week, you are making yourself a better person. The third thing I've noticed throughout my journey is how to become a better evaluator. It is one of the most amazing techniques and skills that I have learned as being a member of Toastmasters. I had no idea how to do an evaluation. I just simply try to learn, and I thank Gord for his efforts and his work on telling us how to do an evaluation. And I followed the example of a simple sandwich. A good comment and a good feedback. A constructive comment, which I like to call it growth point. I never even knew the word existed until I came here. And then another great comment. Surprisingly, I incorporated that at work. And suddenly, things are starting to be interesting. I incorporated that with my kids. How many times we correct our kids by saying, no, you should have done this. How about trying to say, hey, great job. I liked how you did it. Let's try doing it this way. What an impact will you have on your children and your personal family members by talking that way? Instead of telling them, dude, can't you just throw the garbage? And all of a sudden, you'll start you'll becoming a better communicator as well. Our final reason, or my final reason, is I noticed a tremendous change in my professional work. I had learned many techniques here that I didn't even know about. Despite the fact that I've been speaking in front of people for the last 19 years and teaching technical courses, I have learned a lot here. I have learned about vocal variety. I have learned about the pause. So effective that my evaluations increased and resulted in more bonus in the end of the year. So there's my monetary return on investment. And the most important part is I get to see people here change. I came to Toastmasters thinking I'm going to be the next public speaking champion. I ended up realizing that I'm here to motivate and inspire. To see people change, to hear that I was the reason that they came up to in front of the stage. I hear them in the speeches. They say, David was my reason why I was here. I hear people saying, David was the reason why I'm coming to Toastmasters every week. And I started to realize, wow, I'm starting to make an impact on these people's lives. And that is what I enjoy every single time. All of this can be possible. Come join me. Participate in all the activities. Say yes to any of the roles. Feel confident and know that when you're coming up here and participating in a role or a speech, that you're motivating other people. And you're providing a great service. And guess what? That service will not be taxed. The CRA will not come after it. It's free. And it's tax-free. Come join me. Today, you will realize the difference you make in other people's lives by simply participating. Don't be afraid. Don't let fear stop you from achieving your dreams.